Oh shoot, I think I left the speaker on, so you might not be able to hear me yet. Hold on 1 second. Hey love bugs, it's Dr. Ashley Greer. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me put on my headset just in case. I want to talk to you today about failure and about why it's actually kind of important to be a failure and to be open to being a failure. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me all great now. So it's actually really important to allow yourself the space to be a failure. Why is that? Why on earth would I want to be a failure? One of the greatest fears we all have is of being a failure and of failing at things in our life. And I was talking about this today on the Bodacious Diva Mastermind call, and I think it's really important for all of us to talk about because the thing that happens when we fear being failures, when we fear failing at all in our lives, is that we hold ourselves back from trying new things that could expand us into a whole new echelon of existence, into a whole new way of operating in the world, because we are never going to be willing to try new things and to extend ourselves into new horizons if we are constantly fearing failure and feel as though failure is a marker that we are not good enough or that we are not worthy of success. So one of my favorite analogies with this is the idea that you don't point at and laugh at or curse at a little child who is learning to walk and go, God, you failure, why are you even bothering walking? Why are you even bother trying to walk? Like, that's so stupid. Like, why bother, you silly little child? No, of course not. We go, get back up. It's okay. It's okay to fall. It's part of learning to walk. And yet there's something that happens, and it's probably because of conditioning and all of that, but there's something that happens as we mature into adulthood, that we become almost allergic to failure. We think it's like this is it a mosquito bite on my neck? We think it's sort of like this marker that we shouldn't have tried the thing we failed at. But that's absolutely absurd. I mean, that's like saying, like, well, because children fall on their butts, they shouldn't be learning how to walk, because if they were supposed to walk, they should have gotten it right the first time. We don't expect that of children, so why do we expect that of ourselves? And so it's really actually quite important to get comfortable with the notion of failing over and over and over and over again, actually, in your life. And the more open you can get to failing and not be sunk in the thought of perfectionism, of having to be perfect, of having to be to always be right, of everything always having to be a roaring success every single time you try something new. You're going, oh, Mindy's here. Hey, Mindy. You're going to end up not trying things that are new. You're not going to extend yourself outside of your comfort zone. And growth happens outside of your comfort zone. It doesn't happen inside of your comfort zone. Another way to consider this is the concept of beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is like this concept of, even as we gain wisdom and as we gain all of this maturity and as we gain all of this knowledge in our life, we have to be able to still walk through life with a beginner's mind, so that we are truly open to learning all things, so that we are truly open to learning as though we are children, learning as though we are, as though we don't have all the answers. Whenever you think you have all the answers, something's totally off kilter, and you've got to go back to the drawing board, because knowing, it's like the saying that the wise man knows he doesn't have all the answers. And that's absolutely true, because once you think you have all the answers, and you're operating from your ego, and you're operating from this state of, I cannot try things that I might potentially fail at, because if I fail at them, then I no longer have all the answers, and then suddenly I'm going to look like an ass. All of that is just ego. It's absolute noise. You've got to allow yourself space to fail, and actually cultivate experiences in which you might fail. Cultivate experiences which you might totally suck at. It's essential to suck at things. And I know that sounds really bizarre when I talk so often about, your unique genius and about, embracing your greatness, that I'm actually pushing you to suck at things. But if you are not willing to suck at things, if you are not willing to be challenged by experiences that are outside of your comfort zone, you will never ever grow, you will never ever expand, and you will never ever learn to trust yourself. Because trusting yourself actually comes from the ability to know that you can cope even through the failures, even through the things that are challenging, even through things that are difficult, and that you'll always be able to continue moving through them, and that you will not take these as self-identifying markers of your worth in the world. We take these things like, the perceived failures. Oh, I started a business once and it wasn't a success, as a marker of our worth in the world. And if we look at failure this way, we will never extend our neck out and be the true artisans in our life that we are meant to be. We'll never stick our neck out and be courageous enough, fearless enough to bring our true genius into the world, because our genius is going to be edged with the threat of failure, because our genius is truly an expression of the furthest reaches of who we are in the world. And when we express those furthest reaches of who we are essentially always walking the edge of potentially not succeeding, or potentially being disapproved of by others, or potentially being not great in this one singular thing. But the thing is, the other thing that could happen is you could freaking rock at it. You've got to risk failing and sucking at things so that you can rock at other things, because you're never going to know if you're going to be like an amazing guitar player, for example, unless you try playing the guitar. And if you say to yourself, well, I don't know if I'm going to succeed, and I haven't been able to succeed at playing instruments in the past, so I'm just not going to try. Well, guess what? You're never going to give yourself the opportunity to exceed and to excel in this new challenge that you're accepting for yourself. And so you truly have to walk into a new way of, I think it's about to rain, this new way of perceiving failure. There is no such thing as failure. That's the real key to it. There's no such thing as failure. There's only learning, and there's only experience. Why do we have to label it as failure? Failure is one of these, like dichotomous concepts when we're identifying things as all good or all bad. When failure is full of lessons, it's full of opportunities to grow, it's full of, and a chance to be like a child and learn something brand new. It gives us an opportunity to see whether or not we're good at things, right? And so don't fear failure. Failure is actually essential to embracing your greatness. I'm Dr. Ashley Greer, and I help people like you embrace their true greatness in the world, to step out of their own way and to truly be courageous enough and confident enough to bring their true art into the world and feel as though it's okay to be great and it's okay to try and fail in the process. Till next time, see you there. Bye. Oops.